Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I am here to respond to a book tag. It feels like it's been a long time since I've done a response video to a book tag. I've done some of my own creations, but the book tag that I'm going to be doing today is the Exposing My Tbr Tag. This tag was created by reading with Tatiana. I really admire the things that she has said about our channel, and I thought that this would be a fun tag to go over. I will give you a warning, though, that this tag is not going to be the most direct and specific, but at the same time, I'm going to do my best to elaborate on each of my answers. The reason being, I don't have an official TBR. My TBR changes and fluctuates all of the time, and my Goodreads shelf includes just what I plan to read immediately. If it's up and coming and I can guarantee that I will be reading it, it goes on. If I finished reading it, and or if I've reviewed it, then it goes on. And then books that I tried to win or did win in giveaways. So whenever I enter, it automatically puts it on my Goodreads shelf. So that's where you will. That's what you will see if you look at my Goodreads. But I review as much as possible. I like to engage in conversations with other Goodreads members, be it there are booktubers that are on Goodreads. They're just avid readers, or they are Goodreads reviewers. And I've made some good friends that have... I've made some really good friends through Goodreads, and I've actually recruited people for Literary Gladiators through Goodreads, which is quite something. But let's get into the questions. The first question is, how do I come across books to add to my TBR? For me, I go through my selection, and I decide based off of urge. When we were doing the general discussions would often determine what I would be reading immediately. And that would be selections from the many members from the show. I really liked in the later seasons when we did the drafts. Those were fun to determine what we would be going over. But if you want to really get to the base, it would be the fact that it'd be based off of my shopping trips. Going to the bookstore, shopping online. That's how I acquire my books, and if you really want to be technical, anything that I own is on my TBR, because there's no... maybe the immediate TBR would be what's on my nightstand, but that would be immediate, but not always the case. Next is Booktuber Shoutout to the person who inspired you to add the most books to your TBR, or Booktuber Shoutout to the person who I add the most books to my TBR, if we want to be specific to myself. But the person that I'm thinking of is not a booktuber, but he is a book blogger, and that is Stephen Floyd from Best Presidential Bios. I refer to his site when I'm looking for the newest presidential biographies to purchase. And I may have not gotten to all of them, but I think that if there's any specific individual or individuals, it would be that site. Next is book that has been there the longest. As in, which book has been on my TBR the longest? I've owned a lot of books prior to this, but I've dipped in and out of them. And I probably, when I get back to them, will dip in and out of them. But this was a Christmas gift from 2007, so that was 15 years ago. and that is Tangerine by Edward Bloor. I acquired Rumblefish by S.E. Hinton, and then a few of Robert Cormier's books, but I've read those. I just have yet to get to Tangerine. I don't know why, but I thought that the title and the premise was intriguing, but not enough to read it right away. But maybe if I do another TBR Dice video, it'll be incorporated. And that's one of the creative ways that will help determine what's on my TBR. But I don't always do something like that because I'm not always the best when it comes to following through. Next is the most recently added book. And for that, I'll just say to check out my book haul from my most recent visit to the Book Garden. Next is What Book Will I Read Next? I'm currently reading Herbert Hoover, A Life by Glenn Jeanson. But the next book that I plan to read, it's on my TBR, so, that would be if you want to get very technical, but it is The Cuisine of Hungary by George Lang. I started reading it, I read the introduction, and I'm really looking forward to making my way even further. Next is Most Anticipated Book and Why Have I Not Read It Yet? I would say, for me, it would be the reaction books, because this incorporates all of the different subjects that the reaction series covers, and the reason I haven't gotten to them is just because I have yet to get to them. Next is books that I added to the hype. And I would say my Cormac McCarthy acquisitions, because I realized on YouTube that Cormac McCarthy was trending as far as subjects were concerned. People were specifically looking for works by Cormac McCarthy, and we did discuss The Road on our channel. It's up there with among favorite discussions of mine. The part where I was intensely eating a cookie is what really sticks out. But in all seriousness, if people want more discussion about Cormac McCarthy works, then I hope to contribute more Cormac McCarthy discussion to the community. Because Sylvia Plath is a fine example of somebody who people liked watching our discussions about Sylvia Plath works, so we discussed more works from her. Same thing with Ernest Hemingway, James Joyce, Virginia Woolf. I think there's a certain kind of balance when it comes to providing people with what they want, but at the same time staying true to yourself and prioritizing the reading of what you in particular want to read. Because at the end of the day, this channel belongs to the individual. In this case, it belongs to me and my contributors. And if they want to look for something more specific, they have a lot of other options. But I'll do my best to provide them with what I have, or maybe incorporate their desires into the reading schedule. Next is books that I added that I knew I wasn't going to read. And I would say that it would just be the general idea that I acquired a lot of things just to be able to review. And I go through phases, and certain phases are more specific based off of what I'm interested in at the time, but there was a phase where I just wanted to review books and try to establish myself as a book reviewer. in a way that's a bit more difficult now that it's so easy and you have to really make a major statement in order for your review to really carry weight to the point that it's worth money. Next is any book on there that I will remove. The books that I've removed are books that I've either sold or donated. And grand reveal number of books on my TBR. And that's unfortunately where you're going to be disappointed, because that would require me to count my collection, my ever-growing book collection. And there are books that I have that I probably will be eyeing to sell. They're in a box, not even in the library right now. But I wouldn't be able to give you a good number, because even the Goodreads, that number isn't even accurate, because that's only what I've entered into contests for some of them. Unless there may be some, but not too many, that are things that I've either immediately planned to start or had started. I want to thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you check out some more videos from our channel. As far as tagging is concerned, if you're interested in doing this tag, I highly encourage you to do so. I'm not sure how many people have completed this tag yet. I hope that the number is quite a decent amount. And I highly encourage you to check out Reading with Tatiana. She has done a great job putting out very appealing material, and I think that you are going to have a great time with whatever she has put together. And if you really like what you see on this channel, I highly encourage you to support us on our Patreon, because the money that we make on there will allow us to provide you, the viewer, with even more great content. When we reach our $50 per month milestone, we are going to be releasing 6 patron-exclusive videos, and we will put together a Q&A with any of the contributors that are interested in and able to answer any questions that our patrons may have. Thank you, and for now, keep reading.